On the planet Carvel in 1885, Scotland, the Sixth Doctor and Perry, together with a young man named Herbert, become entangled with the machinations of the despotic Boris. Welcome, friends and companions. How are you today? Have you watched Doctor Who today? I have certainly watched Doctor Who today because every time I watch Doctor Who, perfect, perfect action, adventure, sci-fi, all in one. So I highly recommend you to watch Doctor Who. Yes, very good. I'm very enthusiastic, and the reason I'm looking forward to the new episodes of Doctor Who starting 11th May. Uh, the reason I'm looking forward to it is because I watch. Mostly every day I watch Doctor Who and my favorite episodes, and I get enthusiastic, and that's why I'm curious and looking forward to new episodes of Doctor Who. So I deliberately not looking for the opinions on social media about prospectations and not doing speculations about how the future episodes will be. I'm only watching Doctor Who and get enthusiastic and I'm curious and looking forward to future episodes. That's my things. So I don't speculate about things because don't waste time on that. I want to be enthusiastic about the favorite doctors, favorite adventures, favorite companions, all favorites. So that's why I'm really passionate about the show. So I'm really looking forward to the 13th Doctor Nakuti Katwa and his 13th Doctor and his companion Ruby Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. Um, I want to, and again, I don't want to spend time on speculations or opinions. That's mainly because I don't want to be influenced or have a prejudice before I watching some episodes. And of course, I will discuss the new episodes and give some information about this and shine my light on upon it. Of course, in the week after the episode is broadcast. By the way, um, the first episode's title is called The Call of the Universe. That's the first episode that is broadcast on Disney Plus, on the BBC iPlayer and BBC One. And you have to really look carefully to what the broadcast time is because they are airing on different times. And on the same day, the second episode, 2, is called The Devil's Court. Or sword, really, I don't know how to pronounce it. But okay, so you know it. And I will actually, on the end of the live stream, I will again will mention this. Uh, but that for later. Okay, that's it. Um, um, Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on the channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food, drinks, music, and sport, and especially a special place on this channel for Doctor Who, special place in my heart. Random Entertainment Channel, because we discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music, except for politics and religions. And we don't do hidden agendas or something like that. We only focus on this channel, on the adventure and the action, the dynamics, the special effects, etc., etc. So this entertainment channel is not a speculation channel. random. Also, because we will be broadcast on non-fixed times, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to the channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also because we have no guest or different guest. It depends who wants to join me in the live stream or panel. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube and we'll look what is possible. So the Discord is called Random Entertainment Channel Tag Doctor Who. I bumped the server regularly, so you will probably find me quick. So cheers, mate, and have a lot of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker. That's my name. So today, a sixth Doctor story called Timelash. Mhm. So that's again the title of the first episode of 11 May. Mm. Yeah, I want to do some technical things. I see that I've not just okay, height. Yeah. Um, height. Yeah. Central time. Okay, perfect. So this and this. Yeah, perfect. It works. So a six doctor story time mission. Man. Okay. How is live streams built up? We have first some general info. Then I will dive into the plot. Before I will dive into the plot, I will give a spoiler alert because if you haven't watched this story, I highly recommend you to watch this two-part story. Yes, it's a two-parter. Each part is 45 minutes. In other cases, is broadcast on other formats, but that's a thing for later. After the plot, I will name some cast members. I will do some world building, story notes, and continuity. Because, and again, I say, story is sometimes connected to other stories. Future episodes refer to, future stories refer to this story, or are linked to this story, or previous is linked to previous episodes or stories in Doctor Who. So, okay, that's very important to note. So, okay, we will begin with some general info. So, again, Timeless was the fifth and penultimate serial of season 22 of Doctor Who. It was notably the last story of the classic era to revolve around an adventure with historical figure H.G. Wells and kept his identity a secret until the very end. Previously, his presence in the Doctor Who universe had been alluded to when one of his books, The War of the Worlds, was being read by the Master in Frontier in Space, and would later be acknowledged again when the Seventh Doctor and post regenerative Eighth Doctor read The Time Machine, another of his works. In the 1996 TV movie, Professor Chronotis was also seen reading the latter book in Shada. That was not an aired story. The story also gave a nod to the Doctor's past adventures back when he was traveling with Joe Grant in his third incarnation and retroactively addressed that they have been in an adventure off screen involving the main antagonist of the story. Oddly, the viewers were witnessing a sequel to this as of yet unseen conflict. Thus, the Doctor could conveniently and reasonably demonstrate a history and knowledge of the alien species and the planet central to the story. And the writers relied heavily on exposition about these past events to carry the serial forward. Coincidentally, the story aired right after a multi-Doctor story where the Sixth Doctor and Barry Brown had an adventure with his second incarnation and his then companion Jimmy McCrimmon, resulting in two consecutive retrospective looks of bygone Doctor Who eras over the course of the same season. So this is some general or background info. What you want? Okay, spoilers, spoilers. If you haven't watched this story yet, I highly recommend you to do that, and then continue to listen to this stream in another time, space and time. Okay, and take some water, and then we will dive into part one. Haha, part one. The Doctor and Perry are arguing over their next destination when the TARDIS is ensnared by a Contron tunnel, a time corridor in space. After the Doctor falls to free the ship, he and Perry strap themselves in. TARDIS approaches the corridor and is nearly torn apart by the impact, but stabilizes once it has entered the corridor. It is navigated to the source of the disturbance, the planet Carvel, a world the Doctor has visited before. Before they get there, the translucent image of a woman glides through the console room. On Carvel, the small population is ruled in a rigid hierarchy. At the apex is the Borat, a sadistic and despotic ruler. The Borat has never shown himself in person, only via security monitors, which show a dignified old man. But something in his manner does not ring true. Fear is enforced rigidly through the policing of androids. Rebels such as Aram, Kazak, and Tahir are dealt with either by summary execution or dispatch and death via the Timelash, a permanent and ultimately fatal exile down a corridor of time and space. Below the board is the Malin, in effect a proxy major figure, the most senior of the five counselors of Corfu. These counselors are more ciphers than people of true counsel. One of them, Mikros, has grown unhappy with the rule of the Borat. Since the Borat came to power, their people have become disillusioned, rebellious, and miserable. Their former allies, the Bendrils, are poised to invade. The Bendrils threaten war after the Borat rescinds the grain supply treaty, which underpins the relationship between the two civilizations. Mikros determines to discover the truth and follows the Malin, Rhaenys, into the board's power chamber. The unhappy Malin is transferring the power supplies of the Corvelans into the board's personal system, despite the danger to his own wife, who is recovering from hospital or surgery. Rhaenys finds Mikros and gives him his blessing in rebellion. However, the board finds out and dishes out the usual punishment. The maiden is aged to death in a deadly beam, and Mikros is sentenced to the time lash. Before he can be set in, however, Fena, Rhaenys' daughter and Mikros' lover, intervenes to plead for his life. When this fails, she steals an amulet, conferring the power to pervert the energy supply from New Malin. A psychophantic attacker, and accidentally falls into the web of the Timelash herself. The arrival of the TARDIS presents Decker with an opportunity to retrieve the amulets. The clever Malin greets the Doctor and Perry as favored guests, but the Doctor is suspicious of a Carvelan society that has made huge scientific leaps in a short time and that does not permit mirrors. When the Doctor refuses to venture into the Timelash again, Tecker explains that Perry has been taken hostage to ensure his cooperation in retrieving the amulets. However, While attempting to capture Perry, she escaped into the caves of the Morlocks, large lizards indigenous to Carvel, where Checker hopes she will die. While cornered by the Morlocks, Carvelan rebels Cuts and Season arrive and shoot at the Morlocks and take her into their company. However, they are soon attacked and captured by a patrol of guards. So, to protect Perry, the Doctor returns the TARDIS into the Timelash. He calculates that the normal path of the Timelash would send Vena to 1179 on Earth, but the interference of the TARDIS, which she passed through and the Doctor and Perry had seen earlier, caused her to end up in Scotland in 1885. When the Doctor arrives, he finds Vina, the amulet, and a justifiably agitated young man named Herbert. All three depart on a return journey to return the amulet, which is all Decker cares about. When the TARDIS arrives back in the council chamber, the Doctor, Vina, and Herbert are rounded up with the rebels Mikros, Season, and Cats, and are condemned to the Timelash. Brunner reports the Timelash is ready for use, and Decker tells the Doctor to save his breath for the Timelash. The android grabs the Doctor and forces him to move towards the Timelash. Laughing, Deckard tells the Doctor goodbye, as the android forces the Doctor closer to the Timelash. End of part 1. Part 2. They fight back, killing the Todying counselor Brunner and sealing the chamber doors, determined to hold out in a siege. This buys the Doctor enough time to hoist into the Timelash on a rope and take two Contron crystals from the wall of the time corridor. He uses this to create a time ruse, allowing him to slip out of the chamber. Herbert follows. Decker has fled to the Borat. He blames the setback on the last remaining loyal counselor, Kendron, whom the Borat executes. Decker remains at the side of the Borat, now revealed as a hideous amalgam of a human and Morlocks. Together they watch on screen as Perry is brought into a cave and strapped down while Morlocks gathers to feed. A canister of the chemical Mistacosine AD is placed nearby. This can fuse together different tissue as one creature. It seems the board has taken a liking to Perry and wishes to mutate her like himself. Doctor arrives to confront Decker and the Borat, recognizing the latter as Magellan, a crazed scientist he encountered on his previous visit to Carvel and exposed to council for identical experiments on Morloxus. It seems one of those experiments has now gone wrong, and Magellan wishes to replicate its effects to create a partner. His plan has been to provoke a war with the Bendrils with the Bendelip's warheads, which will wipe out all of the Carvelans, but leave the Morlocks and himself alive, allowing him to repopulate the world in his own image. This revelation prompts Decker to rebel, but he is swiftly aged to death. Oh. The Doctor uses a Contron crystal to deflect Magellan's beam back at him, killing the mutant in his wheelchair. Herbert helps the Doctor rescue Perry from the Morlocks. They return to the council chamber where Mikros and Vina have identified a Bedril invasion fleet armed with Bendelip's warheads. It's close to Carvel. The Bendrils are suspicious of the Doctor's attempts to intervene and prevent a missile strike. He takes drastic action. He materializes the TARDIS in the path of the incoming warhead, risking his own life to save Carvel. He succeeds and returns to Carvel to find Magellan returned from the death and threatening the council chamber, or rather, the other one was a clone of this original. Magellan is unbalanced by the image of himself in a boarded up mirror, revealing the reason he hid away. He's thrown into the Timelash by the Doctor, who says the board was sent to Loch Ness. In the TARDIS, the Doctor and Perry prepare to depart Carville to return Herbert to his own time. Herbert is still outside, and the Doctor calls to him to hurry up before showing Perry Herbert's calling card, which identifies the young man as Herbert George Wells. So, and that, my friends, is the end of the story. Now I'll name some cast members. The Sixth Doctor is played by Colin Baker. Perry is played by Nicola Bryant. The Borat slash Magellan is played by Robert Ashby. The Old Man is played by Dennis Carey. Decker is played by the famous actor Paul Darrow, who also played Avon in Blake 7. Highly recommendable. 4 seasons, 52 episodes. Blake 7. It is Paul Darrow. Paul Darrow is not with us any longer. Rest in peace. Picross is played by Eric Deacon. Maiden Reynes is played by Neil Hallett. Fina is played by Jean Crowley. Kendron is played by David Ashton. Herbert is played by David Chandler. And that is some of the actors. Now I'll do some world building. So, the Doctor says that he was contemplating taking Perry to the constellation of Andromeda. Second thing is, Third Doctor and Joe Grant have visited Carville before this story. Third thing is that the control tunnel from Carville leads to Earth in the Highlands of Scotland near Inverness in the 12th century. When a board is sent through it, the Doctor comments he'll have somewhere to swim for the next 1,000 years. Perry wonders if they'd be spotted, to which the Doctor replies from time to time, implying the board may be responsible for sightings of the Loch Ness monster. The third thing is that when the Doctor tells Perry that the control tunnel is a time corridor in space, she asks, didn't the Daleks have one of those? The fifth thing is that the Bendellips warheads are gas weapons that will kill anything with a central nervous system, but not the reptilian Morlocks. The sixth thing is Mistacosine 80 is the chemical producing a mutation on contact with human skin. The seventh thing is that the Dr. Stardust has color-coded seatbelts. yeah, seatbelts. So the Doctor tells Perry, you don't seem to realize the effect the time particles colliding within a multi-dimensional implosion field can have. Another thing is that Tecker is aged to dust with a time acceleration beam. And the last thing is Medrick is a Carfulon rebel. Okay, that are the one world building. Now some story notes. The music for this story was provided by Elizabeth Parker, who had formerly contributed special sound for Blake 7. Again, Blake 7. A selection of this music is on track 64 CD 30 Years at the Radiophonic Worship. DVD released from 2007 features 8 minutes of her music in stereo, whereas the DVD audio track is mono. So about the format is broadcast. This story was broadcast in 4 25-minute episodes in USA, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. United Arab Emirates and Germany. And part one ends with the Doctor and Perry arriving on Carville and exiting TARDIS, while part three ends with Perry being attacked by the Morlocks. So this is a four-parter in these countries. But I did the two-part thing. Yeah. So another thing is that the story was originally submitted as a Dalek adventure in origin, but it was rejected by. But Eric Saward asked author Glenn McCoy to resubmit it without them. And these are some link to the DC Com, the good, the bad, and ugly. The third thing is that in the original script, it was the first Doctor, along with Ian, Barbara, and Susan, who visited Carville. Some vestige of this remains in the final version, as Decker inquires about the Doctor having only one companion with him. Another thing is that in viewer polls, this story is often very poorly regarded. The serials followed uh, 199th position by readers of Doctor Who magazine in its 2009 poll, the mighty 200. It landed in the second lowest spot of their final results, just above the Twin Dilemma. It's also Twin Dilemma is also a six Doctor story. Another thing is that there's no date is given for the scenes set on Carvel. Um, so there's not so an indication about the time which period it is, but history of the universe and history arbitrarily place it in the year 802,701, the same year in which H.G. Wells' Time Machine is set. Um, Now about Paul Darrow, who plays Avon in Blake 7. When playing the role of Tecker, Paul Darrow purposely exaggerated his performance as a way of retaliating against Colin Baker's similar portrayal of Baben the Butcher in the Blake 7 episode, City at the Edge of the World, in which Darrow starred as Kerr Avon. And Darrow stated that he felt undermined by Baker's bombastic acting on Blake 7. Too eccentrics. So some revenge, something, and some proof something. So yeah, that is very funny, actually. Okay, so in the original scripts, Cat's amulet given to her grandfather by the third Doctor was to contain a reference to Gallifrey, which Perry identified as the Doctor's home planet in order to gain Season's trust. Was Eric Saward replaced this with a picture of Joe Grant. Actually, publicity is still taken during the making of Day of the Daleks, also a TV story. Also, the script gave an explanation for the destruction of the Benadryl, originally a Girdle missile that Ben Lips was neutralized via contact with the TARDIS time field to replace it only with the Doctor's vague assurance that he will explain it to Perry later and off screen. Glenn McCoy had depicted the action as unfolding over the course of multiple days, but Eric Sowards pruned this down to a matter of hours. Another thing is that in the original script, Maiden Tecker undergoes no change of heart and is instead murdered by the Borat in the process of shooting the Doctor. In an original script, the Borat's ridiculous earlier inclination of mating with Perry because he can now make as many clones of himself as he desires. There are also other things that Nicola Bryant, who plays Perry, hated the story because Perry spent a lot of time being tied up and it seemed like a step backwards. She also named the first starter scene as her worst acting performance. Colin Baker felt that it didn't quite gel with him either. Yeah, can bet shit happens. John Nathan Turner wanted Paul Darrow to play Decker as Avon for Blake 7. But Darrow refused and instead played him as Richard III. According to Pennant Roberts, Darrow asked if he could play the part with a hump. Eric Saward described Decker as a Roman emperor who's been sniffing glue all day. Robert Ashby, the board was giving leeway to rewrite his own lines. Um, According to Colin Baker, Bennett Roberts was underwhelmed by the script and was disappointed the bickering between the Doctor and Perry was back, but conceded that such scenes are easily to write. Our thing is that according to Eric Saward, it was John and Turner's idea that this story be a sequel to an unseen Third Doctor adventure. Other thing is that it took 3 hours to put Robert Ashby's makeup on, and he couldn't eat anything during the day. Oh, oh my, oh my. His stomach and his belly are very oh, bye. So John Nathan Turner took Colin Baker and Necker Barrett out of rehearsals twice to attend a convention and rehearse his pantomime. Here, Sark thought this way was unfair on the show and that their performances were subpar as a result. Another thing is that it became apparent that Eric Starr's efforts to correct the lengths of the 2 episodes had been successful. Part 1 was 6 minutes too long, and while part 2 underran by 4 minutes. Bennett Roberts suggested simply shifting the cliffhanger back to Gordler's attack on the rebels, and inserting reaction shots to imply that Perry had been killed instead of Katz. However, John Nathan Turner rejected this proposal. Instead, it was decided to move some of the material involving Perry being taken to the Morlocks cave to part 2. Minor scene cuts will then shorten the first installment to its proper length. To prop up the concluding episode, Nathan Turner authorized a remount in order to record extensions to its 2 Twilight scenes. Saward wrote additional material and David Chandler was rehired. Saward greatly disliked the new scenes. Another thing is that the Radio Times program listing for part 1 included a small black and white head and shoulders photograph of Paul Darrow as Decker. A synopsis misspelled board as board. And the cast list originally credited James Richardson as Gardelier. There was also a large-scale invasion was dropped from the script due to budget constraints. Another thing is that the Bendrils were originally named Girdles, while Maiden Rennes was originally named Maiden Vena, suggesting that Glenn McCoy intended Vena to be a family name. So another thing is that the portrait of a third Doctor hidden in the inner sanctum was painted by an American fan named Gil Bennett, who had come to the attention of the production team at creating a series of Doctor Who art cards. For reference, Bennett used an image of John Pertwee from Invasion of the Dinosaurs, a famous story. And last thing is that as the series developed, Eric Sowers became concerned about the quality of the scripts, especially in light of Glenn McCoy's limited experience in television. On the other hand, John Nathan Turner was reluctant to waste the fees already paid to McCoy and argued against dropping the serial. Furthermore, previous 2 serials proved costly, so Nathan Turner wanted a story that could be done on a low budget. Unfortunately, Saward was unable to mentor McCoy as he was busy working on Revelation of the Daleks. The story then suffered further budget cuts. So if you see all stories, all story notes in combination, you see that there are some difficulties, some conflicts, and actors didn't like the story. And actually, I like the story probably, and that's because of the fact that it's the combination of Colin Baker and Paul Darrow, these 2 actors. That's the reason I like this, the dynamics between them, the tension between them. That's the reason why I like this story. But yeah, you see it wasn't there was some challenges during this the making of this story. But whatever, we have at the end, yeah, we had it on screen. Perfect, 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 perfect. So yeah, the last thing is the context and continuity. There are 6 points. So in prose, speed of flight is it is mentioned that the Doctor and Joe are on their way to Carville with a reference to the Doctor only having one companion. He explained as Captain Mike Yates was joining them on their trip. The second thing is never before seen safety belts attached to the Doctor's TARDIS console would not be used again. Those similar bells were used on the console of the junk TARDIS in a TV episode story, The Doctor's Wife. A third thing is that the Doctor tells the captain of the Benadryl ship that he is Lord President of Gallifrey. Is there a link to TV story The Five Doctors? Fourth thing is the Borat is implied to be the Loch Ness monster, conflicting with the scary scene in TV story Terror of the Zygons. The contradiction is explained when the Borat is killed by agents of the Celestis in the taking of Planet 5, and the 12th Doctor later acknowledges that he is aware of the different monsters he is responsible for in Loch Ness. And there's a reference after a link to Pro's The Shining Man. A fifth thing is that to smother the Borat's delusion that Barry will accept him as the monster he is, the Doctor tells him you can't change the brain in her head. Ironically, Perry did later appear to get her brain replaced with the mentor gifts in TV story Mind Warp. And the last thing is, before the Borat's body is destroyed, he accuses the Doctor, "You have tricked me." To which the Doctor counters, "You tricked yourself." This exchange would be repeated almost verbatim between the Seventh Doctor and Davros, when the latter faced the destruction of his mothership by the hand of Omega, which he had launched. We see that in TV story Remembrance of the Daleks. Yes, that's it. That's it for this story. What? Yeah, I think I will do some commercial again. No. Yeah? Are you alright with it? Okay, let's go then. Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music, and sport. We're called Random because we will discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. And we don't do politics or religion. Random? Because we broadcast on non-fixed times, actually on many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also because we have no guest or different guests. It depends who wants to join me in the live stream or panel. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube, and we look what is possible. Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel. Tag Doctor Who. And again, 11th of May 2024 on Disney Plus, BBC iPlayer, and BBC One on different times. Look carefully what time the broadcast is. Episode 1 is called The Call of the Universe. And on the same day, we have episode 2, The Devil's Court. So, cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker. So, and that's it for today. I hope you are doing well. Um, yeah, I was saying this is the Sunday and not a little bit of weekend. And I hope you really have a great time this weekend. And yeah, it was fun, really fun to do this live stream. And yeah, well, we will see each other next time. I hope to meet you then. Well, for now, I will say to you bye bye. Bye bye. My name is Enigmatic Joker. Doei.